Good morning, everyone. This is Thad from the Reference and Readers Advisory Department at the Rawlings Library in Pueblo, Colorado. And thanks for joining me for, I think, what's going to be another new monthly thing called Food Time. Not the most creative title, but it's the essence of what I'll be showing you. And I think these videos are going to center on wok cooking. Um, if you watched last month, you saw I showed you how to do this little egg dish with tomatoes and onions. This month we're going to do, or I'm going to show you Moo Goo Gai Pan, which is a Cantonese dish. And I'll start right off the bat and just say that it turned out really well. Um, yeah, definitely had a happy tummy afterwards. Um, but anyways, we'll go ahead and dive in here. Before we start, since this is called Food Time, um, turn this down a little. I'll show you a picture here of Winnie here. Enjoying one of his favorite foods, um, uh, rabbits and bananas. It's a thing. Yeah, they love them. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive in here. So I split this into 3 videos, and um, the I took the sound off of these like I did last month. This time not because of the smoke and because I was um, hacking up a lung, but this time um, I had Pink Floyd blaring in the background, and it dawned on me that could be a copyright thing. So, but anyways, I digress. So this is kind of my basic wok clock here. I did the chopping off screen. Um, just, just you don't need to see that part. But anyways, the chicken here. So it's a chicken breast that's been sliced or kind of cut up into long chunks, and it's in a marinade of olive oil, a little cornstarch, and some water. And I let that. The recipe says let it sit for maybe about 20 minutes. I did it on my lunch break the day that I cooked this, so it sat in my fridge for maybe about 4 hours. Um, but yeah, you just want to get that chicken mixed up with the cornstarch, and then um, with the clock here, um, it's kind of a rough clock, but start up at the top with the have diced up scallion, um, garlic, and then some sliced ginger. And that's the first thing that will go into the wok. And then I sliced up some mushrooms, and just wanted to get some good chunks there. I'm trying to follow along with my hand here, because when I was narrating in that video, it's not, of course, matched up here. But yeah, just kind of showing those little chunks of garlic, and then yeah, cut up the mushrooms, and then have 3 canned items, and so there's bamboo shoots, another can of mushrooms. It's a very mushroom heavy dish, and then some baby corn, and I think I just popped a piece of baby corn there. Can't resist. Um, but one thing I wanted that the recipe called for, and that I wanted to add in this, was a can of water chestnuts, but they were out at Natural Grocers, and the recipe I used didn't call for baby corn, but I've had Moo Goo Gai Pan in restaurants, and it's had baby corn in it. Um, And then got to have the chicken here, and actually the chicken's the first thing we'll cook. Um, yeah, and I think just going around the wok clock, and then up here at the top, this. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. The bok choy. I think I had 3 heads of small bok choy, and I just cut it up. And then this is the sauce. It's cornstarch, oyster sauce, sesame oil, a little sugar, and a little bit of water. And it looks kind of funky, but it tastes really good. But that's the sauce for the Moo Goo Gai Pan. And so let's head to the next video. And so this video is where we'll cook the chicken. You want to do that first. And when cooking the meat for wok dishes, usually like cook it separately and try to get a good sear on it. And I used way too much oil there, but just kind of move that around the wok a little bit, and I think I kind of flung some out of the wok and get a little bit of had a little small flame going, but yeah, got that taken care of though. So let's skip ahead a little bit. So now that that's hot and the oil's in there, just go ahead and add the chicken. And you want to let the chicken sit on that hot wok. I think I don't remember. I think I let it sit for probably close to a minute, but you want to get a nice sear and try to have like one layer of chicken and not have too many pieces, or really any pieces, sitting on top of each other. And I probably should have split that chicken into 2 batches, but just for the sake of this, I did it as one big batch. But yeah, just letting it get a nice sear, and then at that point kind of stir it around and start to flip the chicken. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Or actually, no, we'll just stick with the normal speed. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit of sear starting to form. And yeah, now just going to let that sit now for about another minute. Yeah, it's too bad that I can't have the tunes playing during this, just because don't have the rights. But yeah, Pink Floyd blaring in the background. But yeah, I have a night that, and another thing to mention, and I mentioned this in the last wok tutorial. Let's see here. Okay. And I mentioned this last time that you want to make sure your wok is on a high heat. And then kind of give that a little bit of a toss to kind of distribute that heat. And you're only cooking the chicken probably about 2/3, 3/4 of the way. The main thing here is to try and get a decent sear. And some pieces I have here got to have a pretty nice sear, and others not quite the same. Yeah, just allow this to sit a little more. Get some good cooking action, then mix it around again. All right, and then let's head to the final part. And so I then put the that seared chicken back in the container that I was marinating it in. And so now And after removing the chicken, you turn the wok off for a second. But I've turned it back on to let it get that high heat again. And um, add a little more oil, and now it's time to add the vegetables. And so this is the garlic, the scallion, and the ginger. And yeah, it starts to cook up really fast. And yeah, you want to let those kind of brown a little bit, and then from there add the mushrooms that I cut up. And this is always the hard part, just transferring from station to station. And then there's the canned mushrooms, and then the bamboo shoots. And then the last canned item, the baby corn. And then now just gonna kind of toss it a little bit and let all those things blend together and start to sear a little bit. And you already see those mushrooms are really starting to cook. The bamboo too, and just let all those flavors start to mix together. Usually, I think cooked this all together for about a minute, and then we'll add the bok choy. And as always, when working with a wok on high heat, be careful, especially when you're adding wet ingredients. Just it will tend to spit a little oil back up. I think this video I am going to speed up. Okay, all right, and so now adding a little chicken stock. And so I had the chicken stock already boiling in a separate pan, and you want to make sure when you're cooking with a wok and if you're adding chicken stock that it's hot, and boiling's the best because you want the dish or you want the wok to maintain its heat, um, just because that'll help everything cook and cook evenly. You already see that bok choy starting to cook down. Yeah, just that right there by itself looks pretty dang good. And probably, yeah, I'm just kind of mixing it in with that broth. And then add the chicken, and then start to mix that in. Just start to move all that together, and then really let that boil. I'm just mixing all those ingredients together. And then I'm going to add the rest of the chicken stock and just let that all boil together. And one thing I didn't mention, so off to the side, I then have, in my rice cooker, I have a thing of steamed rice going. And just, yeah, moving that around, but keeping it on high heat. So most importantly, so the chicken cooks all the way through. You don't want to have undercooked chicken. And just let that boil continue. Just kind of keep moving it around and kind of letting some of the broth boil out, but not too much. So once we add the sauce, all that's going to thicken together and create the kind of the consistency you'd expect with Moo Goo Gai Pan. And just continue to stir and keep things off the sides of the wok. And then here's where we add the sauce. I think I'm just letting it boil on its own for another moment. Okay, and here's the sauce. So I'm just kind of adding that to the top, and then we'll start mixing that in. And I wish with these videos you could smell what I was experiencing here. I wish there was a way to have that. But anyways, I have a little bit of rice served up there. Pop some Moo Goo Gai Pan on there and take a bite, and delicious. All right, and so that's a kind of a basic, easy way to cook up some Moo Goo Gai Pan. As I mentioned, that was very delicious. Uh, I'm seeing a question here asking about what kind of cooking oil, and I used olive oil. There's a little bit of sesame oil in the sauce, but as far as the cooking oil, it's just olive oil. And thanks for that question. But anyways, thanks for joining me. It was fun putting this together, and we'll do another wok dish. Let's look at the calendar here. I think it will be December 8th in this same time, this 9:30 time slot. But yeah, as I mentioned, thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you were able to pick up a little bit on just some basic wok cooking. And take care, everybody.